Alright, welcome back to Cowboys coverage. Today I'm going to talk about the Hall of Fame game. It was definitely an interesting one. There were some bright spots, but overall, not a great performance. The Cowboys obviously lost 16-13 against the Steelers. But for now, I'm just going to go over, the positives and negatives from the game, my thoughts, and more on the Cowboys. So let's get started. Alright, so I think my player of the game was Micah Parsons. He played very well. He was all over the field, had that one fumble recovery, had a few good tackles, and for a rookie in his first preseason game, that's, about everything you could expect. And he didn't play very long at all, just maybe, I think, 2 drives on defense, and just in that short period of time, he made a big impact, so, got to be excited about him, and no problems at all. So definitely good to see at least one bright spot, and especially how the defense struggled last year. It's definitely good to see, and I hope that he can carry that on throughout the rest of the season and into the regular season. All right, moving to the offensive side, I got another winner, Rico Dowdle. He had a lot of good runs, averaged over 5 yards a carry. Again, limited sample size. He was only out there for maybe the first 2 quarters, if that. But he played well when he was out there. I think he's definitely the favorite to be the 3rd running back on this team, so it'll be interesting to see him. And sticking with backs, I'm going to go with Sewo Lanalua, the fullback running back hybrid. Had a few carries, not a whole lot, but had one good reception. Broke away for 17 yards. And just the fact that the Cowboys didn't carry a fullback net last year, I think it'll definitely be interesting to see how he does throughout the rest of the preseason, as he's the favorite to win that role. Nick Ralston obviously is also on the team. But Olanalua got the playing time earlier, and he looked pretty well. He looked like he played well. And it's definitely be interesting, and I think it could even be helpful for Zeke and with the blocking. And he was also very good on pass blocking. The offensive line, on the other hand, was not. So we'll go into them. The offensive line, it was nice to see Leo Collins out there. He did great on that first drive. That was all he played. Makes sense, want to keep him healthy. But I was impressed with him. Connor McGovern did pretty good. Connor Williams was he played well at both left guard and center. He played both positions. But other than that, it was rough. Looking at the tackles, Ty Nsekhe, recently acquired, veteran guy, expected to be the swing tackle this year. He looked bad. He was he was getting beat every time. Same thing with Brandon Knight. So the tackle situation, not great. Terrence Steele was okay. Still definitely not exactly a starting option, unless you're in an emergency situation. So that's definitely a bit of a concern, the offensive line depth. Once you get the starters out there, I'm not too concerned. But, if any injuries were to happen, we know the history with Tyron Smith and Leo Collins, both on, each side of the line. I'm definitely a bit concerned over the backups. And another player, Josh Ball, he did not play. He sprained his ankle in practice, and he himself will be out for the next couple of weeks. So, not great for that depth. So, hopefully he can get back. Hopefully they can improve, and they'll have that joint practice against the Rams. So that'll definitely be interesting. I'd like to see how they play, again, in a situation against another team. So, they'll have plenty of opportunities. 3 more preseason games to go. I don't want to overreact to this one on, any particular front, but, definitely some concerns on the offensive line. And switching to the defensive line, I think you could say the same thing. There were a couple bright spots. Also, Digizua had a pretty fair game. Other than that, though, it just wasn't a whole lot. Dorrance Armstrong, Terrell Basham, some new guys off the Terrell Basham being one of those new guys. Another, just nothing special at all. Dorrance Armstrong was okay, as always, didn't do much. So it's, just a bit of a concern to see the offensive line get really no pressure especially against the Steelers. not great offensive line, and, even when the backups came in, there's just not much to talk about. I thought that the starters played well. Brett Urban, Carlos Watkins did all right. But as soon as the backups came in, it just, there just wasn't much of anything. So, not the end of the world, but, I'd definitely like to see them improve on that front. Neville Gallimore, though, played well in his short time, and again, you just want to see improvement there. So, we'll switch to the linebackers. Just like I said, Micah Parsons had an excellent game. Jalen Smith was out there for a little bit, didn't do a whole lot. I really like to see him more in the preseason as he tries to bounce back this year. It's, Keanu Neal and Leighton Van Der Esch were out there for a little bit as well. Not a whole lot from them. But switching into the secondary, there's a whole lot going on. Nashawn Wright and Kelvin Joseph, the two rookie cornerbacks, I think had pretty fair games. Nothing too special, but some good tackling, especially by Nashawn Wright. So in their limited playing time, I thought they played well. And for me, it's someone that not everyone's talking about. Israel Kouamu, the 6th round safety pick, I thought was really impressive. He was all over the field. I kept seeing him making plays. So, he could maybe push for a roster spot as one of those last safety roles. So I thought he played really well. So let me know, who's your best player? Who's your player of the game? Who are you giving the game ball to? Even though we lost that one, but I think there were some bright spots. Rico Dowdle, for me, it's Micah Parsons. Definitely exciting to see him. But just let me know who was your player of the game. So switching over to some more losers, I'm gonna go with. We'll start with Ben DiNucci. So it was rough. Ben DiNucci obviously, had that one game last year against the Eagles, which, didn't go well, but, with a lot of backups in there and, banged up offensive line, I thought maybe he could improve, sort of, he had this preseason, I thought maybe he could, develop a little bit, but it was rough. I mean, there's just not much positive to speak about. He had the interception, just looked rattled. I mean, the offensive line wasn't great, so in his defense, but, he got, a few cool little sidearms, but, it amounted to nothing. So, for him, I think it's practice squad at best, but, I definitely don't expect him to make this team. And, again, he has the rest of the preseason, 3 more games. He'll probably get a lot more playing time, but it wasn't great at all. And with the other quarterbacks, Cooper Rush did okay. He played better than I expected he would, so I was fine with him. And Garrett Gilbert, again, fair, not exactly the ideal backup quarterback, but, I thought he played well. He got the Cowboys down the field twice into the red zone, so, I thought he played well. Speaking of red zone, though, Hunter Nicewander, the punter, Hunter the punter, so I'm a fan of him. He averaged over 50 yards on his, I believe, 3 punts. So, punting was great, and I think, he could even push for that punter spot. Brian Anger, obviously, the competition. But kicking, he's not a kicker. Greg Zuerlein is still on the PUP list, so Nicewander had to go in there as the, emergency kicker, if you will. So, that didn't go well. He made the one kick, another one got blocked, and then the 52-yard one was way to the right, went into the stands. So, he definitely has power, and that's, why I like him as a punter, but a kicker, not so much. So, I don't blame him too much there, but, yeah, so that, was not great for him. So, with the rest of the offense, though, I thought they played well in the first half. Again, they couldn't quite finish off drives, which was a bit concerning. But the tight ends played well. Dalton Schultz for a short time. Sean McEwen, I thought, played well. He caught every pass that went his way. And as for wide receivers, Noah Brown and Cedric Wilson, I think, are both expected to make the team. They played, did everything right. But Malik Turner, he's a guy that I did not expect to make the team. Maybe a practice squad option, but he played well. He had I think 4 receptions. He had, around 40-something yards. And, he looked good. He made some difficult catches. He had that long catch on 4th down. Unfortunately, though, coughed it up and turned the ball over there. So that hurts him a little bit. It's, definitely a little bit frustrating there. But overall, I was impressed by him, and I look forward to see what all these guys can do in the next game. Even the practice against the Rams, and then our next preseason game coming up next week. So that's it from the Hall of Fame game. In some other news, Jimmy Johnson will finally be into the Cowboys Ring of Honor. You know, per Jerry Jones. We'll see how soon he actually makes it happen, but definitely well deserved. Long overdue for him. So, and again, just it was nice to see. Cliff Harris, Drew Pearson will be going into the Hall of Fame. Again, well deserved. Um, they've waited long enough, so it's definitely exciting for them, to finally get that gold jacket. So, not the best game again, 16-3 loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers, but overall, just trying to look at the positives. We have 3 more games ahead of us before we get to the regular season. So, let me know again, who is your biggest winner, who is your biggest loser in preseason Hall of Fame game. So that's about it. I wanted to go over Dak Prescott real quick. Troy Aikman spoke about him. He, expressed his concern, and it's really, you know, it's hard to tell, He's got the shoulder injury, and, there's a lot of different opinions on that. Some people aren't worried at all. Some people a little more concerned. So, I would say I'm a bit concerned because, you hate to see your franchise quarterback, sidelined at all. But, the toughness Dak has, I mean, the shoulder injuries he played through, I think it was back in 2018, much worse than this. If it's regular season, he's not going to miss a beat. So, I'm not too concerned. I think he'll be just fine. But, I think they're doing the right thing right now, just keeping him healthy, not risking anything. So, we won't see him practice against the Rams, which stinks a little bit. I'd like to see him out there, but I think they're doing the right thing, just trying to keep him healthy, stay safe, be safe with that. So that's about it. Thanks again for watching, and feel free to like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.